There are 7 distinct types of brown eyes, and each one comes with its own unique hidden advantages and disadvantages that we'll explore together in this video. First up is amber eyes, also known as the wolf eye. The term amber gets used quite casually these days, but genuine amber eyes are extremely uncommon among humans, even though they're fairly typical in the animal world. Picture the striking eyes of wolves, eagles, or owls. A lot of people mix them up with hazel eyes, yet there's a clear distinction. Hazel eyes feature a mix of multiple colors, while true amber eyes display a consistent, solid yellowish copper tone throughout. How does nature create this shade? It's mainly due to a strong presence of pheomelanin, the yellow-red pigment, combined with very little eumelanin, the darker pigment. In humans, this represents a rare genetic variation where the stroma layer of the iris basically lacks the dark pigment that would otherwise darken or muddy the hue. Genetic experts believe these uncommon colors could stem from very old genetic differences that survived in small, isolated groups across Europe. If your eyes are a uniform golden yellow without any green ring around them, then statistically speaking, you're among the rarest individuals carrying brown eyes on Earth. Now, for the hidden advantage. This is based on evolutionary ideas, but amber eyes often appear in predatory animals like wolves. Humans don't possess the same nighttime vision capabilities as wolves, of course, but this rare pigment setup makes you stand out visually in the natural world. On the social side, the disadvantage is that this eye color can feel quite intense. Because it's so uncommon and has that wild, animal-like quality, research on how we perceive faces indicates that people with solid amber eyes are frequently seen as more enigmatic or even somewhat intimidating, especially when compared to the warmer and gentler tones of espresso brown. Next is ash brown, which creates the Tyndall effect. Not every brown shade feels warm. There's a variety called ash brown or slate brown that can look puzzling because it resembles a regular brown eye filtered through a gray lens. It misses out on the cozy feel of cognac or honey tones. This particular appearance comes from the Tyndall effect happening deep inside the iris. In these eyes, the melanin sits farther back in the stroma, while the outer layers contain more collagen that scatters light. As light passes through this hazier medium before bouncing back, it disrupts the warmer wavelengths, softening the reds and yellows and resulting in a cooler, steely brown tone for the observer. The hidden advantage here is excellent camouflage. This eye color stays remarkably neutral and doesn't conflict with different skin tones or hair colors. It simply blends in seamlessly. You'll often find it in groups with very diverse heritage, such as those from Eastern Europe, the Middle East, or Central Asia. Genetically, it serves as clear proof of 2 separate ancestral lines, one with lighter eye traits and one with darker, merging together in perfect balance. The disadvantage? This shade can sometimes come across as dull or lacking depth in photos, since it doesn't bounce back the warmer parts of the light spectrum as strongly. It's a quiet kind of beauty that really shines when someone gets up close to appreciate it. Moving on to cognac eyes, or the red undertone. This is where genetics start to get interesting. Have you ever noticed brown eyes that take on a reddish or copper glow when sunlight hits them? We refer to this as the cognac or chestnut variation. Here, the secondary pigment pheomelanin makes a stronger appearance. While eumelanin builds the base brown, pheomelanin adds those yellow and red hints. In cognac eyes, the genetic mix includes a normal level of brown melanin, but features a mutation that boosts the production of red pigment. This often ties back to the MC1R gene family, which is also linked to red hair and freckles. You don't have to have red hair yourself to show cognac eyes, but it's likely that someone in your family tree carried those vibrant traits. The hidden advantage involves better vitamin D production. The same genetic route that supports these reddish shades frequently connects to skin types that create vitamin D more effectively in regions with less sunlight. Your forebears probably evolved as they migrated away from equatorial areas, and your eyes reflect a trace of that adaptation. The disadvantage is that with a bit less eumelanin compared to the darkest types, you're more vulnerable to UV rays. You lack that built-in heavy protection, so it's wise to take extra care with eye shielding compared to those with deeper brown eyes. Now let's talk about russet and gold eyes, where the scattering effect comes into play. As we reduce the overall melanin amount, we reach the realm of russet or honey brown. At this point, the laws of physics become key players. Recall how the sky appears blue due to light scattering? The same principle applies inside your eyes. When the stroma holds less melanin, it turns more see-through. Light comes in, strikes the collagen strands, and spreads out. Honey brown eyes hit a perfect balance. You get some melanin in yellow and light brown tones, combined with a subtle blue scattering from the collagen. Mixing yellow with just a touch of blue produces that rich, golden, almost shiny metallic appearance. It's truly the science of light interacting with living tissue. The hidden advantage is the chameleon effect. Since this color depends partly on how light scatters, it reacts strongly to its surroundings. In a softly lit room, they appear simply brown. But in bright sunlight, the scattering activates and they transform into a glowing golden honey. It's like having a natural adjustment feature in your eyes that shifts your look depending on the lighting or weather. The disadvantage is that increased beauty often brings heightened sensitivity. You're now in the moderate zone for photophobia or light sensitivity. You may catch yourself squinting even on overcast days when the sky looks bright and washed out, something those with deep espresso eyes hardly ever experience. Then we have obsidian eyes, the ancient shield. These are frequently confused with true black eyes. In reality, completely black eyes don't occur in humans. If the iris had no structure at all, it would point to a rare medical issue known as aniridia. What you're actually seeing is deep obsidian brown. This represents the powerhouse version of eye colors. The concentration of eumelanin here is so thick that it soaks up nearly all the light striking the iris. The stroma becomes fully saturated, allowing almost no light to reflect outward and creating that smooth, endless depth. Evolution doesn't create extra pigment without purpose. This shade served as the foundational design for early humans, developing in the most intense, sun-exposed regions to function as top-tier natural sunglasses. The hidden advantage makes these high-performance eyes. The dense melanin blocks unwanted light so well that people with obsidian eyes tend to handle glare with less effort. You probably maintain sharper vision in very bright conditions than friends with lighter eyes. There's also an intriguing idea about quicker reaction times. Some research has pointed to a connection between dark eye pigment and improved performance in fast motor tasks, such as in combat sports, potentially because melanin-related processes support faster nerve signaling. The disadvantage? You might experience sensations more strongly. Early findings from one study hint at a possible tie between genes for dark eyes and a reduced tolerance for physical pain when compared to lighter-eyed individuals. So while you may respond quicker, the impact could register a bit more sharply. Slightly less dense than obsidian brings us to espresso or coffee brown. This is the most widespread type of brown eye, yet it conceals an interesting texture. Since the melanin isn't packed as solidly as in obsidian, the surface of the iris starts to reveal its natural landscape. You could spot tiny craters or delicate furrow patterns. These aren't imperfections, they're glimpses into the layers beneath. The hidden advantage might surprise you. It could relate to alcohol tolerance. Research conducted at Georgia State University discovered that individuals with typical dark brown eyes often show greater sensitivity to alcohol, meaning they feel its effects sooner than people with blue eyes. Why does this count as an advantage? It helps curb excessive drinking naturally. The study noted that populations with brown eyes were less prone to alcohol dependence overall, as their bodies gave a clear early signal to stop. The disadvantage is mainly visual. These eyes usually need strong natural light to display their full detail. In indoor settings, they can look rather plain, hiding the intricate three-dimensional crypt patterns that add so much character. Finally, we reach the Starburst pattern, the most artistic brown eye. This isn't just about color, it's a striking design. If you examine it closely, you'll see a thick chocolate brown ring right around the pupil that then radiates outward in streaks of gold, green, or hazel tones. This is commonly a type of central heterochromia. It occurs when pigment cells lose momentum partway through iris formation during fetal development. They load the central area heavily with melanin, but as the iris grows larger, pigment distribution eases up, leaving the outer areas lighter. The hidden advantage is a natural focus enhancer. This bullseye layout creates a captivating effect. Since the human brain pays special attention to high contrast, when others look at you, their gaze gets drawn straight toward your pupil. This makes your eye contact feel noticeably more powerful and captivating than with uniform colors. You're biologically wired to capture and hold attention. The only real downside is the ongoing mix-up. You'll probably spend your life explaining or debating what color your eyes truly are. Brown, green, hazel? You'll rarely get a simple answer because you're essentially a living genetic blend. So, how exactly did you inherit your particular shade? It ultimately traces back to a small section on chromosome 15, ruled by the HERC2 gene. You can think of it like a control dial for melanin production. When HERC2 sets the volume high, you end up with obsidian or espresso eyes. When it dials it lower, you get honey or hazel variations. Every person with brown eyes carries their own unique melanin setting, adjusted just a bit differently. If you have brown eyes, you're not simply sporting a color. You're carrying a sophisticated protective layer that helped your ancestors endure intense equatorial sunlight. You possess a one-of-a-kind arrangement of crypts and furrows that has never been exactly repeated in the entire history of humanity. So, take a moment right now, grab a mirror, shine a flashlight gently if needed, and figure out which of these 7 shades is gazing back at you. I read every single comment, so drop a note below and let me know if you have the uncommon starburst pattern or the everyday espresso look. And if you discovered something fresh about your own appearance today, please give the video a like. It truly supports the channel more than you might realize. I'll see you in the next one.